Well, it is the last day of August 2022. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch. Thank you for choosing Hope TV, where you look and live. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. We're also streaming live on our social media platforms at Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Hope TV Kenya. Let us start in court, where the 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice Martha Koome, on Monday began hearing oral evidence of the petition that aims to overturn the results of the August 9th presidential election, where William Ruto was declared president-elect by IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati. In their submissions, the main petitioners, Raila Odinga and Martha Karua, through their lawyers, argued that Supreme Court should nullify the presidential election on the basis that the second respondent, who is William Ruto, did not attain 50% plus one of the votes cast. At the same time, alleging that there were massive irregularities that compromised the integrity of the August 9th polls. The legal team, led by Senior Counsel James Orengo, also questioned the IT structure and system of the Electoral Commission, alleging that the technology was inherently corrupted, manipulated, and tainted, that the results declared by Chebukati cannot be, in an objective case, said to be a representative of the true will of the Kenyan people. Kennedy Kimani now reports.
I appear together with my colleagues for the first and second petitioners.
The 3-day hearing of the consolidated presidential election petition began on Wednesday at the Milimani Law Courts, where the Supreme Court shifted base, with the Azimio flag bearer Raila Odinga's legal team presenting their case against President-elect William Ruto's win in the August 9 presidential election.
The chairperson is not the commission, and that he has to act with the rest of the commission for him to deliver a proper constitutional decision.
There are 3 steps to be taken after leaving the polling stations. They shall be tallied and verified and the result declared. But as you have heard, as you have read all the documents, we saw only Mr. Chebukati doing these duties and not doing these duties as part of the commission, but by himself.
In their submission to the 7-judge bench led by Chief Justice Martha Koome, the main petitioners Raila Odinga and Martha Karua, through their lawyers, argue that the Supreme Court should nullify the presidential election on the basis that the second respondent, who is William Ruto, did not attain 50% plus one of the votes cast, at the same time alleging that there were massive irregularities that compromised the integrity of the August 9 polls.
We want to persuade you that the second respondent never attained that constitutional threshold. And going back to the Constitution, on that particular article, Article 138, sub-article 4, it was made part of the Constitution by the framers of the Constitution to give legitimacy to anybody elected as president, to the effect that he had widespread support of the Kenyan people.
The legal team, led by Senior Counsel James Orengo, also questioned the IT structure and system of the Electoral Commission, alleging that the technology was so inherently corrupted, manipulated and tainted that the results declared by Chebukati cannot be, in an objective case, said to be representative of the true will of the Kenyan people.
The technology envisaged by Section 44 of the Elections Act was intended to ensure an integrated and secure tallying and data transmission system which would allow computerized data entry tallying at constituencies, secure simultaneous transmission of individual polling stations, station level data to the National Tallying Center, and the integration of the results handling system in a progressive election result announcement system. 2 words that bear emphasis there is simultaneous and progressive election result system.
The Forms 34A received by the petitioner's agents vis-a-vis the Forms 34A uploaded in the IBC portal and those brought to the tallying center are different.
The way that the Commission was able to deal with the forms when uploaded and downloaded, staged, transmitted, deleted, all this in totality, if you look at the case we put before you, my lords and my ladies, set out in the affidavits that I referred to, shows an election that was rigged in favor of the second respondent. And on that basis, my lords, we urge that you nullify the election.
The court is expected to conclude the hearings on Friday before the 7-judge bench retreats to pen a summary ruling over the weekend ahead of the much-awaited verdict on Monday, the 5th of September. With day one of the presidential election petition hearing done and dusted, day two will be the turn of the 4 IBC commissioners, the IBC and its chairman Wafula Chebukati, and President-elect William Ruto to make their submissions. Kennedy Kimani, Hope TV Newswatch, at the Supreme Court, Nairobi.
Thank you, Kennedy Kimani, for that report. Staying in court, the battle at the Supreme Court intensified today afternoon as petitioners continued with their submissions before the 7-judge bench led by Chief Justice Martha Koome. Busia Senator and activist Okiya Omtata raised critical issues with the conduct of the election, saying none of the presidential candidates attained the 50% plus one vote threshold to be declared president-elect. Grace Wangoi now reports.
An internal memo or a letter signed by the chairman on the 22nd of July addressed to the...
It is now systems go at the Supreme Court with the hearing of presidential petitions kicking off in high gear. Petitioners, one after the other, presented their arguments before the 7-judge bench. The matter of having digital voting was raised by the 6th petitioner, Okiya Omtata, who took time to explain that it was time the country moves fully digital when it comes to casting of votes in order to do away with the issue of human interference. He sought to know why Kim's Kids still transmitted data way after voting was closed.
Right now, I cannot verify where the ballots I cast went. I don't know. The moment I dropped them in that box, I lost all contact with those ballots. There's no mechanism of verifying. A digital election would give me a serial number by which I could track my ballots. So I'm saying that if you look at the threshold in the Constitution, we must work towards a digital election and move away from these paper elections, which allow human interference without sometimes leaving footprints. There are Kim's Kids that were still transmitting data from locations that are not clear. Because the Kim's Kids that were in polling stations, the voting stopped on 9th. And giving an allowance of 3 hours or 4 hours for people who are still on the queue, you would understand by why a Kim's Kit would still be transmitting 23 hours after the close of elections is something that is difficult to comprehend.
Minutes before IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati declared the results and announced William Ruto as president-elect, 4 IBC commissioners Juliana Cherera, Justice Nyang'aya, Francis Wanderi and Irene Masit distanced themselves from the results for what they termed as opaqueness. While arguing at the Supreme Court, lawyer Willis Otieno, who appeared on behalf of the 4th petitioner, questioned the state of the results being announced by a minority of IBC commissioners and questioned its validity. According to him, the failure of IBC and the chairman Wafula Chebukati to work together went against Article 138(3)(c) of the Constitution. Otieno asked the court to consider the conduct of IBC Chair Wafula Chebukati, Commissioners Abdi Gulie and Boya Molu.
That in terms of 7, the Supreme Court sits as a full bench when constituted. And the rules on arriving at a decision is by majority. And there have been even instances when the Chief Justice of this court has been on a minority. And we never saw a Chief Justice walking out there saying, my minority decision is the decision of the Supreme Court of Kenya. In the instance petition, we have the chairman and Gulie and Mr. Bolu walking out saying, our minority decision is the decision of the IEBC. How absurd can it be?
While presenting his argument, Busia Senator Okiya Omtata said that the figures at the IEBC were manipulated, noting the conflicting numbers of votes cast versus the individual candidates' votes. In more contentious issues raised by Omtata, the activist claims that there could have been over 500,000 ghost voters in the August 9th presidential election. He further argues that none of the 4 candidates who took part in the polls attained the 50% plus 1 vote threshold to be declared president-elect.
We can only conclude that these figures, which form the contents of Form 34C, are cooked. You cannot have both of them in the same document. And this court should not allow that document to stand at all. And the conflicting figures, and those conflicting figures for valid votes cast of 14,213,137,000, and the other one is the one when you add the values of the individual candidates, the 4 candidates, you get 14,213,027, is evidence that the results were worked backwards to achieve a desired or predetermined outcome.
Grace Ongoi for OpTV News Watch.
Much appreciated, Grace. Now, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission has granted the Azimio legal team access to its servers. The Supreme Court issued an order to grant parties in the presidential election petition access to its servers. The court also ordered IEBC to provide copies of its technology system security policy, which included their password policy, password matrix, and system administration password owners. The Supreme Court has ordered the recount of ballots cast at 15 polling stations during the August 9th presidential election. The order was one of the several issued Tuesday as the court began hearing a challenge to the win of President-elect William Ruto. Now, President Uhuru Kenyatta on Wednesday made his first public appearance after the August 9th presidential elections, accompanied by Azimio la Umoja Coast leaders led by outgoing Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho. The president took a walk along the streets of Mombasa, greeting residents who had crowded along the road. He, however, did not address the crowds. The president earlier on had a closed-door meeting with the leaders at the Mombasa governor's office. Present in the meeting were outgoing Mombasa Governor Hassan Joho, New Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro, and Mombasa Governor-elect Abdul Swamad Nasir, together with his deputy Francis Thoya. The details of the meeting remained unclear as no media was allowed inside. On that note, we take our first breather here on News Watch. We will be back with much more. Stay with us.
Coming up this September, CITAM Springboard Convention 2022 with fresh anointing to radiate God's glory as we reach out to the lost. Mark and save these dates from the 20th to the 24th September 2022 at CITAM Valley Road. The convention is themed Till the Whole World Hears and will definitely revive and uplift your faith. The Bible tells us in Matthew chapter 24 verse 14, and this gospel of the kingdom will be preached to the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come. Get ready for the Springboard Convention 2022. You don't want to miss it.
A very warm welcome back. Now, the African Enterprise 60th Anniversary's Grand Celebration Mission entered day 7 today as missionaries from across different parts of the world evangelize in all parts of Lusaka in Zambia. Lusaka City in Zambia. The activities include street cleanups, football tournaments, skits and drama, stratified evangelism, women breakfast meetings, pastors' convention, youth leaders forum, aerobics, and grand celebrations, among others.
The Heaven's Gate Hell's Flames, a HGHF team led by Pastor Richard Lipesa of Christ is the Answer Ministries CETA Missions has been taking part by conducting person-to-person evangelism and hospital ministry. According to Pastor Richard Lipesa, the team that has also partnered with Hope Media has managed to evangelize to hundreds where at least 120 people gave their lives to Jesus. The team is expected to stage the famous HGHF show starting Thursday in different parts of the city for outreach.
We have managed to minister in Munali and Matero, and so far the harvest is ripe here in Zambia as we continue to with the harvest even towards the climax on the 4th of September 2022. So far we have managed to do door-to-door and one-on-one ministry since our truck has been held up, but glory to God, today is when it is being released. The 3 of us are on the way, making their journey towards Lusaka. By tomorrow in the afternoon they will have arrived and will be able to stage the drama in different places in Lusaka, and we can't wait to see what the Lord is doing.
Accompanied by the Kubamba crew also from Kenya, the team also had a time of refreshment and fun after being hosted by the Kenya High Commission in Lusaka. The Deputy High Commissioner Charles Atieno welcomed the team and assured them of full support on any matter that would require the embassy's attention.
I want to take this opportunity to welcome the Kubamba team and the entire group to Lusaka, Zambia. Feel free while you're here in Zambia. The Zambian people are very hospitable. But most of all, we want to take this opportunity to welcome you to the Kenya High Commission. And this is home, away from home, and you are welcome. And it is an experience that most of us have never had the opportunity to be, close to where the action is. So you are welcome. Karibu tena na karibu, asante sana.
The Heaven's Gates and Hell's Flames, together with the Kubamba team, could not hide their joy as they praised and danced in the city of Lusaka. The mission continues until Sunday, 4th September, with a closing rally to be held at Bread of Life, Emas Dale, Lusaka, Zambia.
Back into the country, Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire has formed a 6-member task force to come up with proposals and solutions aimed at reforming the ailing health system. The task force, chaired by retired former Director of Medical Services at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Francis Kimani, according to the governor, has a mandate of 1 month within which it is expected to come up with practical solutions towards revamping the health sector. Speaking on Tuesday in her office while unveiling the team, the governor said her key emphasis was to enhance timely and quality service delivery in all public health facilities across the county. The health system has for long been reportedly crippled through insufficient budget from the past regime, mismanagement and corruption leading to facilities being hit by acute shortage of drugs and other consumables, forcing patients to seek treatment in private hospitals or travel outside the county.
We have a debt ya 47 million katika KEMSA, lakini leo tumelipa 35.8. Kwa hivyo we are still left with about 10 million to go. Lakini hii itatuwezesha kupata dawa za kuendelea kutumia as we clear. na ndio maana tunauliza MCAs watu support na kutupatia pesa ya kutosha. Hizi dawa ambazo tumelipa siku ya leo 35.8 million ikiwa ni part payment, sio yote tumelipa ile tungeweza kulingana na ile pesa tulikuwa nayo, kwa sababu jana nilipoenda KEMSA tuliweza kuongea na CEO na akasema tukilipa kidogo ataweza kutuachilia dawa zingine ambazo zitaweza kutupeleka kitu mwezi moja na nusu. Kwa hivyo hizi dawa zikifika, mimi mwenyewe na deputy governor wangu tutareceive hizo dawa, kwa sababu tunataka kujua process ambayo dawa zinafika, na ile process inatumika kudistribute hizo dawa kwa facilities zote za Embu County kutoka level 2 mpaka level 5, na kuhakikisha tunafuatilia utumiaji wa hizo dawa katika mahospitali kila siku.
And Nakuru Governor Susan Kihika has announced a waiver of hospital bills to more than 64 patients amounting to 5 million shillings. The families had been detained at Nakuru PGH Hospital for failing to raise the amount needed to release them. Speaking during their tour of the facility, Governor Kihika stated that those who had bodies of their loved ones detained by the authority at the morgue have also been given a waiver and should collect the bodies.
I have found that there is quite a few patients who are here in the hospital, some for months. They completed the treatment or treatment was completed, but they were unable, they could not be discharged because they were unable to raise the money to pay for the treatment. So what I have done today, because I did say that I'll be putting people first in this administration, and I did say that wherever we can help and be humane, then we are going to make sure that we are humane. So what we have done is we have sat down with Dr. Aisha and her team and the waiver committee, and I have been able to have or to do a waiver for almost about 5 million shillings at this hospital, so that over 64 patients will be released, and some are little children. I just met a 7-year-old boy who had a fracture but has since been taken care of, but has not been able to go home and is just laying in the bed. I've also met an older gentleman who had an accident, and he says his treatment took 2 months, but he's been here another extra month because he has been unable to raise the fees required. In addition to that, I have also discovered or found out that there is bodies that are laying at the mortuary that their loved ones have not been able to get them because they were unable to raise the money that was required to be paid, because some maybe were passed away while at ICU. So the family was unable to raise the money, so the bodies have been lying at the mortuary. So what we have done is, with immediate effect, we have said that those bodies be released to the families so that they can bury them with dignity.
Let us now cross our borders. The Tigrayan forces in Ethiopia's embattled northern region have accused the government of conducting drone strikes in the regional capital, Mekele. The government has not yet responded to the accusations, but it had previously warned people to stay away from what is called military targets. Faith Selfa brings us our international news roundup.
Guinea's military junta has insisted it is committed to hosting the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations and will release funds and fast-track access to land to help the country's preparations. The announcement on Monday came ahead of a 2-day visit by the Confederation of African Football, CAF, to monitor Guinea's progress on staging the event. The head of Guinea's military government, Colonel Mamadi Doumbouya, declared that hosting the 2025 Nations Cup was an issue of national and priority interest, and that all spending for organizational needs will be processed as a matter of urgency. In Namibia, 4 German tourists and their South African pilot died after a plane crash in Namibia on Tuesday. According to a police report, the plane, a chartered Cessna 210 with a registration number V5LMK, crashed a few minutes after taking off from an airstrip on Impalila Island along the Zambezi River. And Tigrayan forces in Ethiopia's embattled northern region have accused the government of conducting drone strikes in the regional capital Mekelle. The government has not yet responded to the accusations, but it had previously warned people to stay away from what it called military targets. According to the United Nations, airstrikes conducted last week in Mekelle killed civilians, including children. The UN says the renewed clashes have been displacing thousands of people in border areas in Amhara and Afar, the neighboring regions where the fighting is concentrated. And the former Soviet leader Mikhail Gorbachev, who brought the Cold War to a peaceful end, has died aged 91 after a long illness. Gorbachev took power in 1985 and introduced reforms as well as opening up the Soviet Union to the world, but was unable to prevent the slow collapse of the Union. Russians blamed him for the years of turmoil that ensued. Outside Russia, he was widely respected, with the United Nations chief Antonio Guterres saying he had changed the course of history. He will be buried in Moscow's Novodevichy Cemetery, the resting place of many prominent Russians. It is not clear whether he will receive a state funeral. For Hope TV's Newswatch, I am Faith Salfa.
Only God can turn a mess into a message.
I have a boy on a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I'm still preaching on the pulpit.
Amen.
Niliona mguu ya nyuma inakuja tu kunikanyaga, imenilenga tu kwa tumbo. Nikaitana tu, Jesus.
I got tired of working with the x-ray papers, and one day I just woke up and decided to burn them.
A test into a testimony.
The whole community didn't want to hear that anybody is born again. Excommunicated, straight.
Bila Yesu hakuna njia.
Join Sharon Naitore Wangenye on Testify.
Katika hiyo harakati hiyo spirit ikakemewa, mimi nimeona Yesu Kristo namna hii. Kwa msalaba. Opa. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. for a moment to grow your faith some more.
Welcome back. Let's take a look at business. Equity Group Foundation Executive Chairman Dr. James Mwangi has commissioned the airlift of 73 students who will be joining 48 global universities through scholarships under its Education and Leadership Development pillar. Notably, 7 of the scholars are part of Equity Bank Rwanda's inaugural ELP class, which was officially launched in November 2021 with the primary goal of expanding Equity Group's social impact across the region. The 2022 Global Airlift cohort will benefit from scholarship valued at 2.1 billion shillings. For the 4-year duration, they will be pursuing their undergraduate studies. Additionally, the scholars will receive an airlift stipend to support their transition preparations. The scholars are on full scholarships and have benefited from a week-long boot camp where they were coached and mentored on the transition journey as global scholars. Speaking to the scholars, Dr. Mwangi applauded and urged them to maintain commitment and focus that would see them achieve their goals.
Ron George Pile, Kapsabet Boys, going to Yale University.
You join a cohort of 750 scholars who have gone ahead of you, we have flagged before you. What a mighty army of scholars. What a mighty army of like-minded people who I believe shares values, dreams, and aspirations. The world has never been changed by the multitude. The world is changed by a small group of people who takes a common vow to a purpose and unite fully in delivering to a cause. 750 can be maybe broken into about 20 groups. And so we can handle maybe 20 systemic issues of the world if we chose to. And if we changed 20 major issues that trouble the world, I believe the world will have been changed, because the principle of the 80-20 rules still applies. It's not how many things you do. It's how you prioritize and do the most important and significant ones that makes the 80% of the difference.
Now, Britam Holdings PLC has posted a profit before tax of 1.04 billion shillings for the half-year period ending June 30th, 2022. This is a significant improvement compared to a profit before tax of 0.65 billion shillings recorded over the same six-month period of 2021. The group reported gross earned premiums and fund management fees of 15.8 billion shillings, a 6% growth from 14.9 billion recorded in the same six-month period in the previous financial year. In line with Britam's diversification strategy, regional general insurance businesses continued to support both revenue growth and profitability. The regional insurance businesses contributed an impressive 23% of the group's total growth and premiums. The group's investment income in the period was 6.2 billion shillings, representing a significant 26.0% growth compared to 4.9 billion shillings recorded in the previous financial year. And in sports, KCB forward Francis Cairo scored the only goal of the game to help the Bankers win 1-0 against newly promoted KPL side AP Bomet at Camp Toyoyo. The striker, who recently joined KCB from Talanta FC, has registered 3 goals for the team, already scoring in all 3 pre-season friendly matches. Speaking after the match, KCB FC head coach Zedekiah Otieno said they are making good progress in the pre-season as they prepare for the new Kenya Premier League season. KCB will lock horns with Gor Mahia FC on September 3rd, and Otieno admits his side has to perform well to secure a positive result in the encounter.
I'm very impressed with the tempo of the game which we played. AP really gave us a hard time, and I think we contained most of their threats. And I'm happy that we managed to get a goal, considering that this is the first team which we are playing at the same level with. So I'm happy, and in the next 10 days or so, I think we'll be ready for the league's kickoff. I think everybody is bringing different things, and what we try to do is to get more scoring options. You know, like last season, we only had Derek. So if he didn't score, it was very difficult for us to manage to maybe win a game. So this season, we've tried and brought in Kipkirui, who is a goal scorer. We've brought in Francis, who had 9 goals last season for Talanta. And I think with the boys we had last season, I think now we have more scoring options. So I think we'll be having a good season come next season. We had quite a number in signing because some of our players' contracts expired and they were not ready to renew their contracts. So it was a must for us to replace them. And seeing the team today, we played with 2 different squads in the first half and the second half, and that's the beauty of having good players.
And KCB racing team driver Nikhil Sachania says he is optimistic about a top 5 finish during the 6th round of the Kenya National Rally Championship, KNRC, slated for this weekend in Nanyuki. This is Sachania's first competitive rally after the 2022 WRC Safari Rally in June, where he finished 4th in the Kenya National Rally Championship category and 18th overall. The KNRC 6 Nanyuki Rally will start and end at Greystones, which is also the venue for the service park and rally headquarters. scrutineering and reconnaissance shall take place on September 2nd, paving way for an action-packed race on September 3rd. Clerk of the course, Bimal Patel, says the designated spectator viewing point will be centered on Greystones. The repeat run of Greystones will serve as the event's power stage, where the fastest drivers will earn bonus points for the championship.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. It's been a couple of months since we got into the car to drive. We drove the car on Sunday, just a little test. Car is feeling good, and I'm looking to be out there. Looking forward to be out there. Well, locally, I hope to get a top 5 at least. I hear there are quite a number of cars taking part this rally, so it'll be a good competition. We hope to get a top 5. Obviously, we're always there just to have fun and give a competitive finish. I mean, the car was pretty okay after the Safari Rally. We had a minor hiccups that we needed to sort out in the car. Just a few parts that we needed to change and a few parts we needed to test to make sure everything is in order. We did come across a few items on Sunday which we've now resolved. But yeah, the car is good to go, and we're ready for Saturday.
To international sports, Manchester United have officially reached an agreement to sign Brazilian forward Antony from Ajax. Antony has scored 31 goals in 134 club appearances for Ajax and Sao Paulo, and 2 goals in the 9 senior appearances for Brazil. By moving to Old Trafford, the 22-year-old will be reunited with former Ajax manager Erik ten Hag, who has already brought defender Lisandro Martinez to United from the Dutch Giants. Antony joins Lisandro Martinez, Tyrell Malaysia, Christian Eriksen and Casemiro as the new signings of the Red Devils under Erik ten Hag. And Southampton came from behind to earn their second win of the fledgling Premier League season and move above Chelsea in the EPL table. Raheem Sterling is the Blues' top scorer and got Thomas Tuchel's side off to a promising start with his 3rd goal in 2 games, thanks to a calm swivel and finish in the 23rd minute. However, another former Manchester City player levelled moments later, with Romeo Lavia firing a superb effort beyond Edouard Mendy after Chelsea failed to properly clear a corner. EPL's fixtures slated for tonight include Arsenal versus Aston Villa, Bournemouth versus Wolves, Manchester City versus Nottingham Forest, West Ham versus Tottenham, Hotspurs and Liverpool versus Newcastle. Well, we have come to the end of Newswatch tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. Till we meet again, God willing, God bless you. Adios.
Gather your family together to see
Superbook!
Come explore with Chris,
Awesome!
Joy,
Where are we?
and Gizmo as they journey back in time.
You have done evil in the sight of the Lord. You have built temples and altars to the false god Baal.
I see 4 men walking around in the fire unharmed.
It appears we are now in ancient Persia, 5th century BC.
There'll be action, fun,
Here we come! Oh, right!
and plenty of adventure.
Superbook!